So welcome to class. Again, today's class, we're going to be going over all of the team platforms. This is going to be everything from smart plans to marketing to how to navigate your contacts and just show you guys what the differences are on the team platforms that were recently launched. So if you are a part of a team within the Keller Williams brand, you will have access to these platforms. If you are an individual agent that is not operating on a team, you will not have access to anything that we are going over. So I just want to make sure that you understand this class is entirely based around those team platforms. So to start, I'm just going to log into Command. And again, I'm going to be running through a Rainmaker's account today. So I'm going to have pretty much unlimited access. If you're not set up as a Rainmaker, some of the settings that we go over first, you may not have access to. However, it's still going to be great information just so you can see how it should be set up. Once I'm logged into Command, the first thing I want to touch upon is going to be the settings that are set up on the team platforms. Everybody will essentially have access to this settings portion. However, it may look a little bit different depending on how you are set up on the team. So I'm just going to start by clicking on my name in the top right-hand corner. And then I'm going to go ahead and just select settings.
Oops, unmute. I wanted to just stop video. So I'm in here looking through.
Once we're in the settings portion, you guys are going to see all of these settings populating on the left-hand side now. We're going to start and just essentially go through this list, and I'm going to show you guys which ones apply to teams specifically. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on General Settings to start. And underneath that, you guys are going to see Default Account and Team Management. I'm going to start just by clicking on Default Account. This option will allow you guys to actually select which account is your default account, whether you want your team profile to be the one that shows up when you log into Command automatically, or if you want your personal profile to show up automatically every time you log into Command. This is something that every agent will have access to. Doesn't matter if you're the Rainmaker or an agent on a team or even an admin. It will give you access to essentially select which profile will be your default profile. Connie has hers set up as being her personal. So in other words, every time she logs in, it's automatically going to bring her to her personal profile. Underneath that, we have Team Management. When I click on Team Management and I'm under my personal profile, you'll see here I'm currently selected on my personal. And underneath that, we have the team option. And just based on the comments that are coming in, if you guys are not seeing two profiles, you are not a part of a team. So you may not have access to this. If you are seeing two profiles, then you are a part of a team, just to keep that in mind. But for how Connie has her set up, currently I'm under the personal profile, and you'll see when I clicked on that team management, I have very minimal access. However, once I click on the actual team profile, where she is the Rainmaker, I can now see everybody who is associated with her team. Someone also just asked what a Rainmaker is. A Rainmaker is essentially the leader of that team. So whoever owns that team, started that team, essentially like the head honcho of that team. So I'm logged in and I essentially have access to everything right now. That being said, once I have this team management platform up, you guys are seeing I have Connie and it gives her role. She's the team leader, in parentheses, Rainmaker. And then she has unlimited permissions set up. Then she also has 3 agents or individuals on her team. We have Kathleen, who's a buyer specialist, Leah, who's an administrative assistant, and Lisha, who is a lead associate. You'll notice that 2 of the other people also have unlimited access, which gives them very similar access to the Rainmaker, meaning they pretty much have unlimited access to all of those team features, settings, and everything that those team platforms give. Then Kathleen is set up as standard. Standard is that basic permission level that every agent is given on a team. However, it can be adjusted when the Rainmaker comes into this platform. This is how they actually have access to adjust permissions. If you guys want a breakdown of the permissions that are available, we can actually go ahead and click on permissions, which is on the right-hand side. And this is all in the notes as well. If you guys are following along with the live class, I posted them in the chat. If you scroll all the way up to the top, if you guys are following along with the recording, there is a Google Doc URL right in the body, the description of this class, and it will break down everything that we're going over. But once we click on permissions, you'll see here you have your brief synopsis of what unlimited is, what enhanced is, what standard is. However, when we click on full permissions breakdown, it's actually going to give us a chart of exactly what these people are going to have access to based on their permissions. This is gold if you are a Rainmaker. This is something that you will want to pay attention to, because if you have somebody, maybe you're bringing on a marketing person that's going to be handling all of your print marketing, you may want to set them up as enhanced, because it's going to give them access to all of the contacts so they can start setting them up on smart plans. They'll have access to essentially edit, create, delete, customize those team smart plans, which are essentially your drip campaigns. You guys will have access to do all of that. So my personal recommendation, when you guys have a little bit of time on your hands, come back in here and look at this unlimited breakdown for team permissions, and just make sure that the people on your team are set up with the permissions that they will need in order to do whatever it is that they do on your team. So again, standard gives them very basic access, which is completely fine for agents. But one thing I do want to make sure I stress now, just so it will make more sense when we dive into contacts, standard permissions only give agents access to their contacts in the team platform. So if John Smith is on a team and he imports a list of contacts into the team profile, he will only have access to that list. He will not have access to any other contacts. So just keep that in mind. If you were on a team and you guys are all sharing contacts in that team database, you'll want to make sure that all of your people are set with enhanced. That will give them access to all of the team contacts, rather than you having to go in and manually assign, manually add collaborators to contact profiles. Any of that won't have to be done. By default, enhanced will give them access to all of those contacts in the team profile, not your personal profile, only the team profile. And we'll dive deeper into that, but that's usually a question that comes up. Accept cookies. But yeah, once you guys have a chance, come in here, take a look at it. Again, I've hyperlinked this on the notes as well. It's actually right at the top. So if you guys maybe don't have access to this, if you're not set up as a Rainmaker, you can still see this list. I put it together on that notes list. I'm gonna X out of this. Jumping back to all team members, one last thing I want to show you guys on this section. If you guys are set up as a Rainmaker and maybe you've taken on an admin, and maybe it's an admin who is either working part-time, it's somebody who maybe the office isn't recognizing as an admin, they're helping out with very specific things, you actually have access as the Rainmaker to add an admin to your team outside of the office, meaning that she doesn't have to be added to the office's system, or he or she does not have to be added to the office's system in order to be given a generic login for your team tools. In order to do this, you can actually click on Add Member in the top right-hand corner, and then select which type you are adding. You'll always be adding a guest member. If you're adding a team member, that means that the office needs to physically add them to the system. You can go this route and add team member. However, I highly recommend touching base with your office first, because depending on how your Market Center administrator checks their emails or what email they're using, they may not see this promptly. So if you're looking to add an actual agent to your team, or if you have somebody who needs to be physically recognized by the office, obtain a Keller Williams email address, anything along those lines, touch base with Market Center staff first, because they will need to recognize them as an agent/administrator. Adding a guest is going to essentially give them a guest login for command, and they'll be linked to your team, which is great. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on Add Guest User just to show you guys quickly what it looks like. We do have a tip video that goes over this specifically as well. But as long as I have my guest user selected, You'll notice each Rainmaker on a team has 2 available guest slots, meaning if you're on a larger team, a mega team, and maybe you have 2 or 3 Rainmakers, that means each Rainmaker has those 2 seats. So you can actually add up to 4 to 6 people, depending on how many Rainmakers you have. Underneath this, you'll see it does take 72 hours for this to process. And what this is essentially going to do, they're going to add their first name, their last name, whatever email address they want to be using for this platform, as well as a generic password, agree to the terms and conditions, and then you send the request. What's going to happen is this is then going to prompt your Market Center administrator just to approve it. And then they'll essentially be given a guest login. It will email them to whatever email address you put on file, and the username will start with guest, and it's usually very long, but it's going to be guest underscore, usually a bunch of numbers, some letters. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's kind of just like a long, obnoxious username, but whatever you guys set the password as will then allow them access to command. They'll be able to go right to agent.kw.com and log in normally with that new guest username and the password, which is kind of cool. So once you guys have done that, again, keep in mind it takes 72 hours, so don't panic. It does take 2 overnight feeds for this to actually be done. And then what will happen is within that 72 hours, just gonna click cancel, you'll notice that they'll actually get added to your team member section, and they'll populate right in here. At that point, with guest people that you're adding to your accounts, you do also have access to remove them. If you click on those 3 dots, you can request removal. This person's in Winmore, so it's a little bit different. This one specifically, if they're not guests, the Market Center administrator will have to remove them manually from something called the team tool, which only the Market Center administrator has access to. So again, if it is somebody that the Market Center recognizes as either an agent or an administrator, you will want to touch base with Market Center staff. But if you went through that guest process and maybe they left the team, or maybe you created 2 logins on accident, happens all the time, you can actually click on whichever one they don't want to use and just remove it. And it will actually take them off of your account and remove that spot and give you that seat back for another admin. Moving on to the next section, I'm just going to go ahead and click on command settings. We're going to minimize that just so it doesn't get out of control. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on contacts. One thing that I do want to notate, which is also notated on the team notes, for contacts, you guys actually have access to contact archive and database wipe. Contact archive will actually show you the contacts that are archived based on whichever profile you're under. So for example, if I click contact archive, there's nobody in here. But if I toggle over to her personal account, she has 1. So you'll notice I can actually toggle back and forth between my profiles, and it will give me different settings. Keep that in mind. This is actually huge. So when it comes to these contact archives, if you come in here and there are some under the team, maybe you tried to import a list of 100 people and people are being skipped, come into settings and check and see if maybe they're sitting in archived, because then command will actually see them as being duplicates. But a lot of times what happens is they might be under either archive. So always just check both profiles just to make sure that if you're trying to wipe out your archived contacts, you're doing both systems. For database wipe, which some of you may have used, some of you may not, you'll see you actually have access to archive all contacts and delete all archived contacts. This is 100% linked to your personal database. It will not interfere with your team database at all. If you need to delete your team contacts, that needs to be done manually. So if you do have to delete your team contacts, do not come in here and go into database wipe, because it will wipe all of your personal contacts. So just keep that in mind. So again, if you guys are looking to mass archive, mass delete your database, this will work for the personal database. Even if you're on the team database, it still only deletes the personal, which is a little bit deceiving. So I just want to make sure I make that very clear. We've had some boo-boos in the past. Underneath that, we have contact tags. You'll notice here, again, we have some tags added under the team profile. Again, I can toggle back and forth from personal, and I'll be able to see both options. For the team tags, only the Rainmaker, as of right now, has access to actually add those, edit those, create them. So if you are not set up as a Rainmaker, that's why you may not have access to actually create tags here. This may be blocked out, but you should still be able to see them. You also have access to utilize them if you're a part of the team. Underneath that, we have lead sources. This is something everybody will have. However, if you're on that team profile, only the Rainmaker will have access to create custom lead sources. However, as an agent with Keller Williams, having access to command, if you're on your personal database, you'll have access to create your own lead sources for your personal contacts. That's the same for tags as well. You still have access to do all of this under your personal account. It's just when you're on the actual team profile, only the Rainmaker will have access to create and edit these. Moving down to custom fields. This is a cool feature that I feel like a lot of agents, especially teams, don't realize exists. This allows you to actually add a custom field to your contact profiles. So for example, I've seen some teams in the past use like favorite pie. That way around Thanksgiving, they can actually go through contact profiles and see this person's favorite pie and send them a pie. Or if they have like kids' names or things like that that you guys want to maintain on a contact profile, you can actually come in here and add custom fields. Then when you open that contact profile under contacts, it will be there waiting for you to add information. Again, just kind of a cool feature to keep in mind. Again, for teams, only Rainmakers can create them, but everybody can utilize them. So if there's something that you need created, you can always touch base with your Rainmaker and they can create the custom field, the lead source, or the tag for you. Coming down to lead routing. Lead routing allows Rainmakers to route leads automatically. It takes a little bit of the pressure off of the Rainmaker in regards to leads that are coming in. It essentially means that any leads that are being captured by Facebook ads or any other way that you guys are routing leads to your account, it will automatically allow this system to actually assign them to agents on the team, just to make sure that you're having the quickest turnaround time to reaching out to that contact as possible. When it comes to these leads that are actually going to be captured by the lead routing platform, keep in mind, these are only going to be really Facebook leads or leads that you are manually adding into the system. It will not capture leads that are coming in through landing pages or website and mobile app will not be captured by this. It automatically assumes that those leads belong to the Rainmaker because it's their platform. So those will actually go to the Rainmaker themselves. But as far as like Facebook ads, so if you are running a landing page on a Facebook ad, it will come in here. So if the Rainmaker is running Facebook ads regularly, they can come in here and they can set up a lead route, and it will allow those leads to automatically be assigned to agents on the team. I'm going to go through this process with you guys really quick, just so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on create route on the top right-hand corner. You guys may already have some created, which is completely fine. For route title, I'm just going to call this Facebook leads because I'm going to specifically pull over Facebook leads. For setting routing rule, you'll notice that you guys do have several options. And if you hover over the little I, it does break that down for you. However, for a little bit easier reading, I pulled up the KW Answers article, and I'll drop this in the chat for you guys as well, just so you guys have it. And it breaks it down so you can actually see what each one does, what each one is going to allow you to do. So you have random, it's going to randomly distribute them. Weighted random, this is the one we're going to do today, just so I can show you guys what it looks like. Jump ball, every team member in lead route will receive the lead. First person to claim it gets it. Round robin, we did last class. So if you guys want to see that one, I can send that class over to you guys as well. And then assign to agent, it essentially just allows you to select one agent, and that would be it. So if you have 7 agents on your team, you would only select one agent for this lead route. Pretty straightforward, but if you guys have questions on these or how they work, definitely let us know. You can always shoot us an email, or if you drop a question in the chat with your email address, I can get back to you guys later on and just kind of break it down a little bit further. but this is a great tool just to kind of understand the basics on how this works, because again, it takes some of that weight off the Rainmaker. And this is just going to ensure that your leads are being contacted as soon as possible. So I'm going to hop back to command. And then I'm going to do the weighted random today just to show you guys a different one from last class. And then you'll see underneath the set route schedule, you can actually select the days that this is going to apply to. So as of right now, every single day is selected, but say you don't want it to be done on Saturdays or Sundays, or if you want to do a different route for Saturdays and Sundays, you want to do a different route for Wednesday and Thursday, you can by all means set up 6 different routes, one for each day, and then a special one for Friday or a special one for Saturday, whatever it may be. So this is kind of cool. You guys can come in here and make them as specific or as general as you want. I'm going to leave all of the days selected just for this test. Then for setting times, you guys can either set a custom time, which essentially means that this route is only going to work from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m., which you can do. However, that means leads that come in may sit in the actual lead pool for 10 hours, 12 hours, if you don't have that route actively working. So I'm going to leave this for all times, just so it's consistently capturing those leads and routing them as soon as possible. Underneath here, we have our deadline. Deadline is going to be important with most of these routing rules set from the assigned agent one, because again, they're all going to be going to the same agent. But if you guys are using anything other than assigned to agent, this is going to essentially give the agent who it's going to a deadline. And the default is 3 minutes, which is very aggressive, because that means that this agent has to get the notification, accept the lead in order for it to actually remain with them. I usually recommend doing something like a couple of hours. I've seen some teams do 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, or just 1 day, whatever it may be. I'm going to go ahead and just do 1 day. That way it essentially gives them 24 hours to accept that lead. If they don't accept it in time, it will automatically go to the next person. And if you guys do want to crunch that down, and you can do like 20 minutes, an hour, whatever it may be, all that means is if John Smith is the first person to get it and he takes longer than an hour to accept it, it's going to go to the next agent. Next agent takes longer than an hour to accept it, it goes to the next agent, and so on. If for some reason it goes through all of your agents on the team, that's completely fine. You're not going to lose that lead. What will happen is it will essentially sit in lead pool. And I'm going to show you guys where that is later, just so you guys know where any of these leads may end up. But I have mine set as 1 day. I'm going to go ahead and click next. Then for here, I have lead source. I'm just going to put Facebook lead ad. Oh, spell Facebook right. I'm going to put Facebook ad lead. You can essentially select all leads as well. So if you guys are looking to have every single lead routed through this lead routing option, by all means, you can select all. And what that means is any lead that is captured through this platform will automatically get routed with this route tool. So in other words, if you just picked that weighted item, which is what I'm doing, that means any lead that is captured will automatically be set up this way, which depending on how many leads you guys are capturing, I may not recommend, just so you can keep them organized. But if it's like if you guys are on a spouse team and there's only 2 of you and you're just looking to make sure that someone's contacting them, that may be a good idea. So now I have my lead source, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on next. And again, I have this all typed out for you guys too, as well as tip videos, articles that break all of this down. I know it's a ton of information, so I apologize. But once I have this, all I have to do now is I have my assign agents to route. I can either do all, I can do assigned, I can do unassigned, whatever it may be. I'm going to leave this as all, just so all of my agents are included. And then from here, I'm going to do advanced, because what it's going to allow me to do is we'll select our people. So say I only want Connie and Kathleen to be a part of this. I can actually come in here and say, oh, I'm not going to click the button for that. I can say, Connie, I want her to get 75% of the leads, and I want this agent, Kathleen, to get 25% of the leads. And as long as I equal 100, it's going to allow me to proceed and actually create this lead route. So in other words, the weighted volume is allowing me to select whoever I want to get the majority of the leads. You can also, there are 4 people on this team. I can also go through and just do 25, 25, 25, 25. However, if you're opting that route, one of the other lead routing options might be better. This is more so if you have somebody who's maybe relying on leads a little bit more, whether it's a newer agent on your team or a more experienced agent on your team, and you want the leads being captured by Facebook to maybe go to that person. Or you're running Facebook ads specifically for listings and you have a listing agent. Maybe you want them to get 25% of the leads or 80% of the leads, whatever it may be. This just puts the actual delegation in your hands. You can figure out exactly what percentage you want to go out to those people. So I'm going to leave this as is. I have 75% going to Connie, 25% going to Kathleen, and all I'm going to do is just click on save. And it does usually take a second to load. So once I get my green ribbon, just saying that it's been successfully created, it's just letting me know that I now have an lead routing system set up. If for some reason you want to pause this, say for example, maybe you're running a special ad and you set up a special lead route or whatever it may be, you just need to pause this for whatever reason. You guys do have access to duplicate, edit, archive, and then pause just by toggling that button. Don't panic, it's not gone. We just have to click on your pause section and you'll see you have your leads right here. And you can just toggle it back over to reactive and it will show back up. So you guys do have access to pause these. You can come in and customize them. So say for example, maybe Kathleen wants more leads. You can come back in here and edit and split them 50-50 if you want. You can edit these at any time. So they're never locked in stone. You can also archive them and start completely from scratch. And the leads that are routed by these lead routing platforms will not be lost if you archive these. We've gotten some questions about that in the past. So for example, if you guys acquire, say 5 leads through this route and you then archive it, nothing will happen to those leads because they've already come through. So you're all set. But if you guys maybe have some that are set up, you're unsure how they're set up, I would definitely recommend going through edit once more and just tabbing through just so you can make sure that they are set up properly. This is a newer feature that was not live a couple months ago. However, it was still populating on the back end. So we did have some teams that had come in here, set up lead routing and didn't realize they had actually set up lead routing. So if you are seeing anything populating, my recommendation is just go through it, tab through it, make sure it looks correct, or archive it if you want to start fresh. And again, the create lead route, that's on the notes. I also dropped it in the chat. But if you guys are watching the recording, take a look at the actual article as well, because it will break it down a little bit further for you. Okay, next section is opportunity settings. I'm not going to touch upon most of this only because we're actually going to dive into opportunities next, and I'll show you guys under there because it makes a lot more sense seeing the actual platform. But I am going to touch upon the team permissions. This is something only the Rainmaker will see. However, you'll notice it's right underneath opportunity settings. I'm just going to click on team permissions. And you'll notice this actually allows or disables your agents from being able to create opportunities. That being said, if you have an agent that is on your team and you have no selected and they're trying to create an opportunity, try toggling that to yes and then back to no. What this should do is block agents on your team from creating personal opportunities. So in other words, as they're creating an opportunity, they need to be under the team profile in order to actually create those. If you guys have yes highlighted, it means that they can create team opportunities, but they can also create personal opportunities, which is completely fine. Some teams do organize their platforms that way. But if you do not want people to be able to create their personal opportunities, you would want to have no selected or check off the people who maybe are enabled otherwise. So for example, Lee is the admin. They have her set right now, so she can create both personal and team opportunities. So you can customize this. But we have seen in some cases, that when you have no selected, it blocks the team from creating opportunities as a whole. So if you guys are seeing that and they aren't even allowed to create a team opportunity, quick toggle over to yes, give it a second, and then go back to no, and it should actually jumpstart that for you. So your teams will be able to create those team opportunities. Just as a heads up, that's something that we do see regularly. Underneath that, we have reporting, which does not have anything populating yet. But then we have smart plans. So I'm going to go ahead and click on smart plans. And I'm going to minimize these because it's, So underneath smart plans, we have designated agents. This is something only a Rainmaker will see, but if you are set up as an admin with unlimited access, you may also see this. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on designated agents. And you guys will see here, this is for smart plans specifically. If you're unfamiliar with smart plans, we do have an entire class that goes over the smart plan platform, which is phenomenal. Smart plans, think of them as drip campaigns. They are a way for you to contact your clients in your database. It allows you guys to set up tasks associated with their contact profiles. You guys can send out drip emails, drip texts, whatever it may be. With the team features rolling out the way that they did, this is great for you guys. It allows you to actually all use the same smart plan, which again, very cool. It also allows you guys to organize how those are going to be sent out. So the way that Connie has her team smart plan set up right now, and this is only for teams, does not influence personal smart plans. For the team platforms, you'll see right here, tasks are set to contact assignee. What that means is if the smart plan includes any sort of tasks, it will automatically be linked to the contact assignee. So whatever agent is assigned to that contact profile. For emails and SMS messages, you'll notice she has Rainmaker selected. What that means is as these smart plans are going out, those emails are going out, those text messages are going out, it's actually going out on behalf of the Rainmaker. This also means that these two platforms are using the Rainmaker's allowance. So in other words, emails for smart plans always go out via command mail. Command mail gives you 5,000 emails a month. You can purchase more, but you're given 5,000 emails a month. So what this means is this is actually tapping into her allowance of 5,000 emails a month. And they will also be branded with her information, which is what we're going to go over next. SMS, same deal. All of the SMS messages are sent through Twilio. If you guys haven't set that up yet, also hyperlinked on the notes how to get that set up. But she has it set up right now, so it's all running through her Twilio account. Meaning if anybody on her team sets up a smart plan on the team platform, or they're utilizing a smart plan on the team platform, it's going to be using her Twilio number. The texts are going to come from her Twilio number, and it will essentially come back to her. So just keep this in mind if you are set up as a Rainmaker, or if you're utilizing those team smart plans, which I'll touch upon really quick. But just keep in mind how they are set up, because again, this is a huge question. If you guys are operating as a team, however, each agent is essentially nurturing their own contacts, you will want to make sure that you have contact assignee across the board. This is going to allow the actual agent working with that contact to not only get the tasks, but to also send those emails out on their behalf. They're going to be branded with their information. It's going to be using their command mail. So in other words, if they send an email over to Sally Smith, if Sally Smith replies, it's going to go to the assigned agent. Same thing for text messages. So just keep that in mind when you guys are using those team smart plans. I don't want to mess this up on her, so I'm going to put that back. Underneath that, we have our connect settings and marketing profile. I'm going to go through this section really quick. If you guys do need assistance with setting up your marketing profiles, that is something that we do. You can go to scottleroymarketing.com/command, and that will allow us to come in here and actually fill this out. It's a brief questionnaire. So scottleroymarketing.com/command, and that will pull up a questionnaire. You guys essentially provide the information you want utilized, and we'll go ahead and implement it for you on the command platform. So if you guys do need this set up, don't panic, we can do it for you. You have headshot, team logo. Headshot does need to be a square. Team logo can be really any shape. It does look distorted here. However, it is smart enough to actually correct itself. on your marketing platforms. And then you'll notice here, the way that Connie has hers set up, where Connie and Lisha really share a command platform, it's actually set up with Connie Yates and Lisha Maxwell as the last name. That way they're on all of the marketing together because they're essentially partners. Agent license number, team name, you have your professional job title and your designations. You'll want to make sure those are added. Make sure that you're following whatever compliance is for your state/your board. Definitely touch base with your broker in charge if you're unsure what you're supposed to have here. For example, New York needs to have something along the lines of like licensed real estate representative or something along those lines. So just make sure that you're touching base with your broker in charge if you're unsure. You have your bio populating here. This will actually feed over to all of your platforms. This system or this section that we're going over is going to brand your website. It's going to brand your smart plans. It's going to brand your email campaigns, and it's going to brand any landing pages as well as your mobile app. So this is essentially ground zero for your marketing information. Making sure the information shows correctly here, very important. So if you're seeing something that looks a little bit wonky right now, you can come back in here later and just kind of adjust it. Or again, if you guys have questions, just let us know. And then we have our mobile number, office number. They have both phone numbers under the mobile number, which will technically work. However, on some of the marketing, when she goes to create custom marketing, it is going to give her a red error and tell her that she needs to cut that down to only being a phone number that is 10 digits long. So just keep that in mind. She can have it like this for now. However, when it comes to customizing pieces down the line, it is going to ask her to cut that down to be just a phone number. We have the office number, email. This is whatever email address you guys want on all of your marketing. Website. One thing for the website, you do want to make sure that it's hyperlinked. So you want to make sure that you have http:// If you guys are using the .kw.com, and actually I think they aren't even using a custom one. It would be HTTPS because all of those are secure URLs. So if you guys are using the team website, you guys can make sure that's there. Or if you guys are using your personal websites, that's completely based on your team. We've seen it go both ways, whatever works for you guys. But every agent on your team, whether you guys are functioning with a team website or individual websites, you do want to make sure that this is set up, even for administrators. So what it's going to do is anytime they really use the command platform, it will fill in the blanks for them, and it just makes things a little bit easier. Underneath that, we have the Market Center brokerage logo with all of your brokerage information on the right-hand side. We have the name, we have our office phone number, physical street address, city, state, zip. If you don't have your brokerage license number, no worries. You can add that in later. Or if you don't have it on file, it's not mandatory. And if you guys have questions on this information, again, let us know. We can take a look at your account specifically. Compliance, I'll touch upon that really quick. Legal footer text, you guys can add each office as independently owned and operated. However, that is actually something that will show up on all of your marketing as a default because that's associated with Keller Williams compliance as a whole. Some agents do take this to put either specific verbiage that maybe the brokerage requires or your board requires. You guys can copy and paste text in here. Or if you guys have a PDF or a document that needs to be on all of your marketing for compliance, you guys actually have access to add that. So you guys can add a title for that URL and then the URL that you're looking to promote or essentially have on all of your marketing right here. If you guys are doing a PDF, you guys can host that on your Gmail. Just make sure that you're sharing a shareable link, something that everybody can view. Again, if you get stuck, let us know and we can help you guys set that up as well. Last but not least for compliance are the legal footer images. You guys do have access to add legal footer images. Again, this is going to show up everywhere. So as long as you guys have the text, the URL, or the image of what you guys need to have for compliance, it's going to be on everything. You guys will never have to manually add it. Again, kind of cool. I have noticed that some of these legal footer images, agents have taken it upon themselves to also put their designation logos, which is completely fine. If you have acquired additional designations, you can add them here. just keep in mind, they're going to show up very tiny. It's 128 by 48 pixels. It's essentially like this little thumbnail that will show up on the bottom of your website, bottom of your mobile app, all of your smart plans, emails, pretty much everything that's sent through command, it's going to show up on the footer for you. But I thought that was a creative way to get your designation logos on there. Underneath that, we have our social platforms. One piece of advice for these, make sure they are business profiles. If you guys have a personal Facebook page, personal Twitter, personal Instagram, I would not recommend adding those to these platforms, specifically because these are going to be added to all of your marketing. So in other words, if it's not real estate geared, it's going to show on your website. It's going to be linked to your mobile app. It's going to show up on your profile for your office's website. So just keep that in mind. Again, if you guys are part of a team and you guys have team social media URLs, you can always add those in as well. If you guys have business pages set up as a team, you'll notice that Connie does have those set up. So she has all of those added. With everything that has been going on with like the virtual walkthroughs and things like that, if you have a YouTube channel, this is a phenomenal place to add it. It's going to automatically hyperlink that to your website. Again, mobile app, profile, everything. So if you guys do have a channel that you guys are posting, maybe virtual walkthroughs, open houses, things like that, you can paste that in here. Again, you guys can all share these too. So if your Rainmaker did set up maybe team profiles or an agent on the team set up team business pages, you guys can all share that URL. LinkedIn, really anything from LinkedIn is going to be business associated. So you can either put your business, your personal business profile, or you can put a team profile if you guys have created one. But I just want to stress, make sure that these are real estate related. We have had some issues in the past. And then for Facebook, you have your Facebook pixel and ads and Google Analytics. Those are also hyperlinked in the notes that I sent over. If you guys are watching the recording, they're hyperlinked in the notes right below this video. It's going to essentially allow you to set up tracking for both of these platforms. Again, pretty cool. You have your Facebook pixel and ads. Once you guys set up that pixel ID, it's going to track the traffic on your Facebook ads that are being run through command. You also have Google Analytics. It's going to track your traffic of your website. If you guys are sharing a team website and it was built under the Rainmaker's login, you would want to set up Google Analytics under the Rainmaker's login. So just keep that in mind. Last but not least, we have our branded KW app. So you do want to make sure that your branded app URL is here. If that is blank or you're not seeing anything there, we can help you find your link. So by all means, let us know and we can shoot that over to you in an email. My personal recommendation, as always, pull this up in a separate tab and just make sure it is actually branded to you. Or if you guys, again, are sharing a team one, completely fine. Chances are it's the Rainmakers. But just make sure that this looks familiar and that you don't have some random URL in here. We've also seen that happen somehow. So just make sure maybe you copied it from someplace or whatever it may be. Make sure that's yours. Pull it up in a separate tab. If you guys made any tweaks, just click save at the bottom. And then anything that you guys adjust on this at any given time, it will update automatically on most platforms. Websites sometimes still have to be manually updated if you've already created a page. However, your mobile app takes 72 hours to update. So if you guys tweaked something, added an image, maybe adjusted your bio, contact information, it does take 72 hours to feed over to that mobile app. So don't panic, just as a heads up. So now that we've gone through all of the team settings, and I apologize, we only have about 10 minutes left. We are definitely going to go over, so I apologize in advance. But I'm going to go through the contact section really quick with you guys, just to show you what the actual team platforms look like when it comes to contacts. So we're just going to go ahead and click on the contacts section. If you guys ever question which icon is which, if you click on the white KW in the red square, it will give you the actual breakdown of what each tab is. I'm just going to go ahead and click on contacts. I'm just going to give it a second. Perfect. So once my contacts load, as of right now, I'm already under the team platform. So you'll notice I can toggle back and forth between personal and team. It shows me the different contacts. But when I come into the team platform, again, I am logged in as a Rainmaker. The first thing that you guys are probably able to see is I have my search section right here. plus I have my title. This is a great way to make sure that you're on the right profile. But I also have access to actually go through agents on the team's contacts. This is only going to show me contacts that these agents / admins have added to the team profile. If these people on my team have contacts and they're only under their personal section, I, as the Rainmaker, will not have access. The team will not have access. If your contacts are in your personal platform, they are 100% yours, 100% owned by you, and not even visible to anybody on your team. If you are looking to share a contact with your team database, you can do that. You would need to essentially select the contact, and unfortunately, she doesn't have any in here right now. But you would need to select the contact and actually move that over. And we do have a tip video on how to do that. So I'll get that out to you guys in the notes as well. I believe it's hyperlinked right at the top. But you guys can manually move contacts over to the team platform. I do want to go over what happens when you guys do that, just so you kind of have a heads up. If you guys are moving contacts from your personal profile over to the team profile, completely fine. It's going to put them in your team database. It will give people on the team with enhanced permissions or higher access to see those contacts and essentially adjust those contacts. They will not have access to remove your ownership. So in other words, if Connie has, all of these contacts, she manually moved them over to the team account. She still owns them. They're still her contacts. They essentially are just now populating under the team database. If for some reason, heaven forbid, you leave that team and you go back to being an individual agent, or you join a different team, switch market centers, whatever it may be, once you are removed from that team, what will happen is your contacts that you own will automatically go back into your personal profile. If you were given, say you were given 5 leads by that team that the team owns, however, they were assigned to you, those will remain with the team. So just keep that in mind. We have had some people who have left teams or maybe just transferred market centers, brokerages, whatever it may be, and they panic when they're not seeing leads that were given to them. Unfortunately, if that team owns those leads, it will not change. They continue to own them after you leave that team. But that's also something to keep in mind. If you are adding your personal contacts in here, as long as you're adding them as you as the owner, and these should all be owned by her. No, these are actually owned by the team. So it looks like these were manually added by her. If you guys ever question that, if you open a contact profile, you'll see account. It tells you which account it's under the team account. Underneath that, it has the actual owner. Team is also the owner. Connie is the Rainmaker. So really, as far as the ownership for the team, Connie essentially owns the team contacts as well. These are primarily going to be seen on leads that maybe were captured by a Facebook ad or whatever it may be. And then you'll see the assignee right underneath. You also have access to add collaborators. Kind of cool. If you do have an agent that is set up with maybe standard access, standard permissions, you can come into contact profiles and manually add people on as collaborators. I went over permissions a little bit earlier. If you have standard access, what that means is you can only see your contacts. So John Smith, standard access, imports 100 contacts into that team database, all owned by him, all assigned to him. He's going to remain having access to those 100 contacts. Connie, as the Rainmaker, will also be able to see those 100 contacts, but really she's only going to be able to see them. She can drop a note, maybe a reminder, add a task. That way she can help him out if he needs help, but she won't be able to do anything else. That being said, if Connie maybe has a contact that now John has to work with as well, rather than completely assigning it over, if she's still going to be handling it, she can click on the pencil and add him as a collaborator, or we'll just say Leah for this. And I can add Leah as a collaborator. What that means is Leah will now have access to this contact profile under her team section. So as long as she has that team profile selected, she'll have access to see this contact profile, which is kind of cool. That's something just to keep in mind, because we do get asked that a lot, because previously, if you've been a part of a team with Keller Williams, you were able to share a contact with a team member previously. With the new update, There is no longer a way to share a contact. Now you can add them as a collaborator. I'm going to cancel that just so I don't mess that up on her. As far as, let me go back here really quick. As far as contacts that you manually move over from a personal profile to the team profile, you guys can actually see your tags. I've already added them here, but if you guys moved contacts over from your personal profile, they were all beautifully tagged, they were all organized, you can come in here and click on customize columns under your team profile and scroll down a little bit, and you guys will see legacy tags. You just want to make sure that's checked off. You can move it up too, so it's not last if you want. I'll put it first just to make it super easy, and apply. And then you'll see, move it over. You'll see legacy tags will populate first. She doesn't have any legacy tags on these, but if these were from her personal profile and she moved them over, legacy tags are just tags that came from your personal profile. They're completely filterable, pretty cool. It will still work for you. It essentially allows you to make sure that all of the organization you may have put together on your personal account isn't just lost when you move contacts over. So that's a great thing to just keep in mind. As far as custom tags go, Rainmaker can set those up for you. So that's one way to make sure that they are tagged uniform. If you guys are all using the same tags, you guys can essentially click on them and it will pull up that specific tag for you. That also works for legacy tags. As far as contacts, I think that's pretty much it. But I do want to jump into, I'm going to go over opportunities next, and then I'll touch upon smart plans really quick for you guys. For contacts, if you guys have questions, there are a lot of unique circumstances when it comes to team contacts. If you guys have questions, you're unsure about something, just let us know. Shoot us an email. Again, my name's Brittany. So if you guys shoot an email over with Teams, you can just say, this is for Brittany, and they'll get it over to me. But yeah, if you guys have questions or if there's something unique happening with your account, just let us know. We're happy to take a look and just kind of make sure everything is populating correctly for you guys. There is a ton of information for these team features. So now I'm just going to jump into opportunities just to go over that really quick. Give it a second to load. From here, the first thing you guys are going to see is I'm on the team profile automatically. I can toggle back and forth between Connie's personal profile and the team profile. She's the Rainmaker, so she will remain having two profiles. If you guys are an agent on a team and you only have that team profile, don't panic. It just means that all of your opportunities are meant to go through that team platform. If that's an error, just touch base with your Rainmaker and they can go in under settings. We went over that a little bit earlier and they can adjust that for you. Underneath the team profile, two things I want to go over. When you are creating an opportunity under the team profile, first things first, when I click on create opportunity, it's automatically going to have the owner as Connie. You also will not be able to essentially remove the team as long as you're creating it under the team profile. Owner will always be the Rainmaker. This is something we get questions about all the time. The owner will always be the Rainmaker. You'll also notice, and if I was not on Connie's account, this would look a little bit different, but you'll notice that Connie's the Rainmaker. It also automatically assigns her. If I was logged in as Leah, Connie would still be the owner, and then it would have Leah assigned to it. If you are not assigning the person who is going to be working on this opportunity to the actual opportunity, they will not have access. The Rainmaker will always have access to every single opportunity created under the team. But if you're somebody or an admin on the team and you're a transaction coordinator, if you're a transaction coordinator, you're creating all of these opportunities, you can actually come in here, create opportunities on behalf of the agent. By default, it's going to have that Rainmaker as the owner, and it's also going to allow you to assign the agent who will need to maintain this opportunity going forward. This is a huge update. Previously, this was not something that could be done. So if you guys do have a transaction coordinator or someone who just handles all of your transactions on the team, maybe it's one of the agents, they actually have access to come in here and create these opportunities for these agents just to get the ball rolling. For the actual client, the other thing I want to go over, for the client, when you guys come in here and actually add a client to an opportunity, in order for them to show up, they have to be under the team database. So if I am creating a team opportunity, that contact needs to have been moved from my personal database to the team database. So you'll see here, all my team database people are showing up. I can just select it and move forward. If you are not seeing a contact under this platform when you're going to actually create an opportunity, if it's not showing up on that drop-down list, there is a solid chance that it is not under that team profile. So just make sure that you're moving any contact profiles over to that team section prior to creating an opportunity. And again, you won't lose ownership, so don't panic. It's still yours. It's essentially just putting it under that team platform. So team opportunities can then grab that contact profile and link the opportunity for you. I'm going to go ahead and just create kind of like a dummy opportunity just so we can play with it a little bit, set up some tasks, and show you guys how to communicate with team members through opportunities. If you guys are following along, I'm just going to throw in some random information really quick. Let me put test team class, just so she knows this is not a real opportunity. And then estimated close date, I'm going to leave blank. If you guys do have custom tags set up that you're using as a team, you can add them here as well. She has 2 added here, but I'm just going to leave that blank for right now. And then I have this set up as a listing opportunity, commission, do 6%. That may be high or low. We're not licensed real estate agents, so I apologize if that's not accurate. And then for opportunity phase, I'm going to leave this as cultivate and meet acquaintance for right now. But if you guys have somebody who's like active, you guys can come in here and adjust this to active or whatever it may be. Once you guys switch this option, it's automatically going to switch this as well. And then assignees, I'm going to put Connie Yates on here, but I'm also going to add Leah because I'm actually logged into Leah's account in the background, and I'm going to show you guys how it shows up. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on create. Once I have the actual opportunity set up, I'm going to drag that over a little bit and just pull up opportunities on Leah's account just to show you guys again what it looks like. So under listings, you'll now see that she has a 1 here. I'm just going to click on it, and here's my opportunity. So now she has full access to this opportunity, same access as I have because I have her assigned. So again, this is huge. This is not something that you guys had access to before. So if you guys do have a transaction coordinator now, they have access to do this. My personal recommendation would be to, again, take a look at permissions and see exactly how much access they need. They will most likely need enhanced, if not unlimited, depending on, again, what you want them to specifically be handling. But take a look at that and just make sure that they have the correct permissions set up. But this is a great tool to keep in mind. So now I have both of those people assigned. I can come in here, I can make adjustments and all of that to this actual opportunity. It will adjust on Leah's platform as well in real time. They're literally sharing this opportunity. So if somebody makes a note or somebody adjusts, like adds a property address, it's going to show up on her account as well. They are not 2 separate opportunities. They're literally the same opportunity and both of them can see it. So as far as tasks and everything go, if you guys have not yet dealt with setting up tasks or setting up client updates or anything along those lines, I'm going to touch upon that really quickly, but we do also have a tip video that kind of dives into that completely for teams as well, which is hyperlinked again on the notes. The notes pages, bookmark those if you guys have already downloaded them. It is an interactive document. So as updates happen, I actually update that in real time and highlight it yellow. So if you guys just bookmark those notes and just kind of check them once a week, anything that's been updated or changed is highlighted yellow and you guys will see it in real time. So as far as communications with the opportunities platform, this is really cool. So I'm going to click back just to get back to the actual pipeline. So once you guys are on the pipeline, I'm going to drag this back over. You guys will see on the top right-hand corner, we have edit stages. and I'm just going to click on this. All I am is on a pipeline. So if you guys are just on regular opportunities, you can click on any pipeline and you'll have edit stages on the top right-hand corner. I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. And you'll see here, I actually have appointment stages. So we have scheduling, I have scheduled, kept, and it's breaking down that pipeline a little bit more. And you'll see here, we have checklists set up. Well, she has one checklist set up. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. And you'll see that they've actually come in here. They've added items. They have update database, update opportunity details. You guys have access to come in here and actually set up these checklists for everybody on your team to have access to. This is something that only the Rainmaker will have access to, or unlimited access. So if you guys do have an admin on your team, you can either give them unlimited access or temporarily give them unlimited access. And they should also have access to update these. We have seen some teams that only the Rainmaker has access, even when they give unlimited access to somebody. So if that happens, don't panic. That just means you have to log in as the Rainmaker to create these. But once they're created, anybody on the team has access to these. This is great. This is a great way for you guys to keep your opportunities moving smoothly, and it helps you keep them organized. So you guys can come in here, you can set up all of these options. You'll notice, again, it's broken down: scheduling, scheduled, kept. If I go back to my pipeline and maybe click on cultivate and edit stages, you'll notice that it actually changes. So I have stage name. Now she has 8, 5, and 1 set up on these checklists. Again, you have access to edit them. You can trash them, whatever it may be. You can add a whole new stage. Maybe there's something else that you guys do in the cultivate stage. You guys can customize these to your heart's content. They are 100% customizable. Once you guys have these set up, which is a little bit timely, you will have to come in here and manually create these. But once you have them set up, if I go back to my test, I have a bunch of test opportunities in here. Poor Connie. So once I pull up my test opportunity and I come in here and I click on my checklist for where I'm at, it automatically knows, okay, I'm in the cultivate status, meet acquaintance. It automatically pulls the checklist that's associated with this section where I am, with this status of where my opportunity is at. I can click on this and go ahead and say, okay, get contact information. I'm going to assign this to Leah, and I'm going to set the due date to be Friday. If you do not set a due date, it will not become an active task. So make sure that you do set up a due date. But once I assign that to Leah, I give her a due date, nice and simple, and I'm just going to close that. It's been assigned. I can also come in here and do client updates, which again, we do have a tip video that goes over this. It actually allows you to send daily progress emails to the client. You can also have it sent to the other assignee on the team. You can also just not check this off for your client, but it does allow you to actually keep your client in the loop. So if this client is hot, they're looking to buy, sell immediately, and they are just moving through this database pipeline very quickly, you can also loop them in on this. So they're actually getting these messages in real time. This was signed. We're waiting on this. This was done. Pictures are done. Whatever it may be, it will actually alert them via email and keep them informed. So again, one less thing you have to manually do. Kind of cool. For discussion, this is a way for you to actually communicate with people on your team, not clients, via command, and it allows you to actually essentially instant message them is probably the best way to describe this. When you guys click on that client discussion, you can click on create discussion, and it does take a second to pop up, so don't panic. But then I can come in here and I can just say assigned task. Did you see it? Nice and simple. And then I can just do at Leah. There we go. And then I can send it. And I just sent that over to Leah. So now that I've done that, I'm going to minimize that really quick. And I'm going to jump back over to Leah's account really quickly. And all I'm going to do is refresh. And I'm still in that same opportunity. And you'll see I have a notification saying that a task was essentially assigned to her. That's the first thing that we did. That was via our tasks. Then I also have a red bubble for discussions. So first, I'm going to click on tasks just to show you guys, yep, it's already showing up. All right, I have 2 days to complete it. Perfect. I can go ahead and complete it whenever it may be. Come in here and just click it off. And then I also have my discussion from Connie, assigned a task. Did you see it? I can like it. Yes, all set. Nice and simple. And reply. If I go back to Connie's, refresh. And then notification, perfect. So it shows in real time. It allows you guys to just drop notes. You would more so probably not use this for something like that. You'd probably just shoot them a text message. But if you guys have something specific, maybe they have something specific that you want to make sure that they know about the client, a timing, or maybe they only have X amount of time to do something, or they reached out to you in regards to something and you just want to make a note. This is a great way for you guys to do that. Anytime they come in here to the opportunity, if there is a discussion waiting, it will show as a red dot. Tasks will automatically show up as a notification under the bell. So if it's something that is urgent or something that you want to make sure that they see it, you can set it up as a task in here, and it will allow it to populate as a notification for them. So this is something to keep in mind. Again, with the assigning, making sure that you're assigning people who are going to need access to this opportunity. If I come in here, I'm under Connie's account still. If I come in here and I edit and remove Leah and save it, for example, if I never added her or if I accidentally removed her and I come back to Leah's account, it literally removes the opportunity for her. She no longer has access to that opportunity. So definitely keep that in mind, especially if you are a transaction coordinator. Make sure you are manually assigning these opportunities to agents that are going to need access to these opportunities. They will have access to come into opportunities and click on all opportunities. And she should be able to see, I'll just type in. Let me see, contact. It should still allow her to see it, but she might. Let's see. She does our DocuSign classes, so she has a ton of opportunities in here at the moment. It has her Leah test listing. Yep, Brittanie team. So here's the ones that are essentially showing up from last class too. She'll still have access to see them. However, she won't actually have access to see any of the information on the opportunity. So assigning them manually to this system is going to allow it to not only show up on their pipeline, but it's going to allow them to maintain actually being able to see all of the details, the profile, if there is one, any documents that are being uploaded, offers and commissions they'll have access to. If you're adding notes, you can actually add notes on the actual opportunity. It's going to allow them access to absolutely everything on that opportunity. So just keep that in mind. Last but not least, and I know we're going over, I apologize. Last but not least, I just want to show you guys smart plans really quick. For smart plans, well, I'm in Leah's account. I'm going to do this under Connie's. For smart plans, I'm just going to click on the smart plans icon. And I just want to show you guys that there are the 2 separate profiles now, if you haven't already started setting these up. So for smart plans, as of right now, Rainmakers have access to add and edit team smart plans. Unlimited access should allow them to create new smart plans. However, they are not yet able to edit existing smart plans. So just keep that in mind. That can actually only be done by the Rainmaker as of right now. Hopefully that will change soon. But when you guys come into smart plans, you'll notice again, you have 2 separate profiles and you'll have access to actually see both profiles. You'll notice they do change. Unfortunately, we have not seen a way to bring personal smart plans that you've created under your personal profile over to the team profile yet. Supposedly that is going to be something that is updating soon, but we have not seen a way to do it yet. It would have to be manually recreated, or you can actually share it, which we do have a tip video on that goes over how to actually share the smart plan with everybody. So that's another option, but keep in mind, it's going to share it with every single agent and staff admin associated with Keller Williams. Unfortunately, there's no way to do it with just your team members yet. But if you guys do have smart plans set up in your personal section and you're looking to get them set up as the team, you can manually recreate them, which is pretty straightforward. You would just cut and paste all of the information over to a custom smart plan. Again, we have another tip video on that also in the notes. But if you guys were also looking to maybe add smart plans, you can click on library. The library is going to be the same for both profiles. It essentially allows you guys to pull smart plans that were created by other agents or maybe yourself if you shared them, and you can add them to your platform. So I'm going to go into Connie's team platform and I'm just going to snag one from the library to show you guys what it looks like. So I'm on the team platform. I'm just going to click on library. And the first thing you guys are going to see are the Keller Williams ones. So these are the 10 smart plans that are given to you guys by Keller Williams International. Some of them are not editable only because they are set up very automatic: monthly neighborhood nurture, biweekly neighborhood nurture, birthday, anniversary. None of those can be customized because they're very standard, straightforward. Sends that monthly neighborhood information out to your clients. As far as customizable smart plans, you guys have two options. You can either completely create a brand new smart plan, or you can come in here and grab one that another agent has already created and tweak it to make it your own. These are smart plans that agents have shared with you. You see top rated, there are 494, pretty cool. And then you have what's new, 50. That being said, if you don't feel like going through 494 smart plans, I do not blame you. You can actually search for them as well. So for example, maybe you're looking for, I already did a Facebook follow-up for her. Maybe you're looking for like a different type of follow-up smart plan. So if I just type in follow-up, it pulls it up and now I have 73 and I can actually scroll through, and whichever smart plan seems appealing to what I'm trying to accomplish, I can actually add the smart plan to my database, to my smart plan library. So as far as smart plans, if you guys are unfamiliar with these, you essentially get this, the Reader's Digest version of what it's going to be doing. And then you can also click on view steps. This is actually going to break down exactly what that smart plan is going to offer you and your clients. So it starts with a task, it has another task, a 3-day delay, a touch task, essentially reminding you to reach out to that person, 7-day delay, another task, 20-day delay, another task. So this one is more so a reminder follow-up for you as the agent to contact them manually. Let's see if we can find one with like emails and such. Perfect. So then this one, when I click on view steps, it's starting with a phone call. So in other words, it gives you the script in regards to what this agent thinks you should be saying to this client. Then you have an SMS, and if you hover over them, it gives you what it actually is. So SMS, it tells me what text message is already set up. Send a simple email. Pretty straightforward. It's just an email that will go through your command mail, 3-day delay, and then it reminds you to call them. This one has 17 steps. And then you have a text message, another email, and as you hover over them, it's going to tell you exactly what it's going to tell you to do if you add people to the smart plan. So all I'm going to do is I'm just actually going to click on add smart plan to show you guys, and I'll do it from here. Add smart plan just to show you guys how to actually customize these further. So if you guys come into the library, maybe you find one that kind of has some of the information you want, but you want to tweak it further, or maybe you don't want 17 steps, completely fine. We can adjust these, but I'm just going to click on that add smart plan. You guys can rename it if you guys want to call it something else. I'm just going to call it team class just so I can delete this later and not confuse poor Connie. And then I'm just going to click on download. Yep. We'll do team class 2. Apparently I did this last time. You cannot name a smart plan the exact same thing as an existing smart plan. It's more so to help you keep organized. I actually didn't realize I already had a team one on here, so that's on me. And then all I'm going to do is jump back to my team plans, and it should now be there. There we go, team class 2. So in order to edit it, I have the smart plan. This is my one. I have all of my steps. It has everything added. I'm just going to click on the pencil all the way over on the right-hand side. And if you guys haven't done this yet, again, don't panic. We do have a class on smart plans. We also have a shorter version. I want to say it's about 15, 20 minutes, and it goes over how to create custom smart plans, which again, I also hyperlinked that so you guys have access to it. And then once you guys are in here, you'll see that you guys can actually tweak this. So you guys have access to edit all of this. My personal recommendation, never ever launch a smart plan without clicking on the pencil first. Go through all of the steps. If you haven't gone through the steps, add yourself and you can essentially see how it goes through all of the steps, but do not add clients without physically going through that smart plan. Sometimes there will be contact information embedded or a mobile app URL, or for example, team name or agent first name, last name, whatever it may be, you may have to tweak it based on how your system is set up. For example, if you don't want your last name on everything, or you don't want your team name on everything, which these are team smart plans, so you would want them on here. But for example, let's see if they have, sometimes they'll manually type in like underneath and just do like dash John Smith. So make sure that if you are seeing that, that you're changing that to Connie Yates or your name. That way everything is branded with your information. So always make sure that you're going through any smart plan that you guys are creating, whether you're manually creating it, whether it's a team smart plan, whether it's one that you guys snagged from the library that maybe another agent was gracious enough to share. But just make sure that you're spot checking them, make sure that they're customized to you and have your information on them just to avoid any issues. But you guys have access to come in here. You can tweak them, make sure you're saving each individual step. And then once you're done going through all of them, you would just click on save in the top right-hand corner and it would save the entire smart plan. You can also delete stuff. So for example, if you wanted to just delete that specific task, click the X. You can reorganize them if you want maybe the 3 delay to go underneath, whatever it may be. It literally just pulls up the smart plan and allows you to customize it 100%. So great tool, keep that in mind. You guys do have access to this, whether you're on a team or personal. So you guys can also do this under your personal account, exact same thing. Once you guys make edits, save in the top right-hand corner. And once you get your green ribbon, we can just go ahead and go back. And then it will keep all of our changes on that smart plan and you guys can start adding people. That being said, I still recommend you add yourselves first, or like a test contact if you have like a friend or a family member that doesn't mind getting all of these emails or text messages. Maybe add somebody first just to make sure it looks correct. Make sure that you're spell checking everything, just to make sure that it's functioning the way that you want it to function. That's pretty much everything. As far as the website goes, I did do a separate tip specifically on customizing your website for a team. That is on the team notes, and I will include that in the email if you guys did drop your email in there. But that's pretty much everything. There's only one last thing I do want to go over, and it's actually something I forgot to mention with contacts. So in regards to contacts, if you guys are bulk moving contacts from your personal database over to the team database, it is going to remove your contacts from any personal smart plans you've set up. So if you guys have personal smart plans set up and you have, your 50 personal contacts, they're all linked to personal smart plans, it is going to remove them. So depending on how marketing is set up, I would definitely confirm that you have team smart plans set up before you start mass adding contacts from your personal account into the team account. If your Rainmaker has not had the chance to set up smart plans for your team platform, my personal recommendation would be to make sure that you're essentially contacting them and you have them set on marketing on your personal profile. And once those team platforms, those team smart plans have been created, then you can start moving contacts over. But moving contacts over to that team database and not having any marketing available kind of defeats the purpose. So just keep that in mind. You also, as an agent, will lose access to actually setting up any emails. So if you guys are using the mass email feature, you will not be able to send out mass emails for contacts that are added to the team profile. You also will not be able to bulk text message contacts that are under the team profile. So just keep that in mind. If you guys have questions for your specific account, or something doesn't look the same as mine and you're set up as a Rainmaker, or you're an agent on a team and you're just curious of how to move forward with something, 100%, that's what we're here for. Let us know if you have questions. I can answer them for you. Shoot us an email, support@scottleroymarketing.com. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I appreciate you guys sitting through that. I know we went a little bit over, but yeah, if you guys need anything else, have questions, concerns, just let me know.